Am I the asshole for telling someone that they neglected their lizard? I, 23M, work at an exotic pet shop. As a part of our shop, we offer boarding services for when people go away on vacations since it can be hard to find someone to watch your pet lizard. Recently, we had a customer drop off their bearded dragon to us for boarding. They purchased her about a year and a half ago. When she left, she was a healthy sub-adult. The family did a ton of research so we felt comfortable with her going home with them. A few months back, she was dropped off to be boarded. When she came in, she was severely underweight. I brought it up to them and they said that she looks the same, that she was eating and that everything was normal. Fast forward to a few days ago and dropped her off again for boarding. At the time, I wasn't working, but when my boss saw her condition, he told me that he spoke to them out for how they were taking poor care of her. He gave her some medicine, placed her into a hospital enclosure, and asked me to check on her when I go into work. When I went into work, the entire place reeked of death. She had passed away overnight. She looked incredibly skinny, practically skin and bone. Her eyes were crusted over with dried skin, and when you flipped her on her back, you could literally make out the outlines of her organs in her body. She was stiff as a board and unresponsive. I called the number they left in our boarding log. I called a few times, each time instantly going to voicemail. A little upset, I called one final time and left a voicemail. I said that their lizard had passed away and that I wanted to speak with them about their husbandry. I told them that she looked incredibly emaciated and that she looks like she hasn't received proper care in months and to call me back ASAP. About an hour later, I got a phone call from my boss saying that they called him about the voicemail I had left. They told him that I was rude, disrespectful, and the voicemail was completely uncalled for. He asked me what I had said and I told him word for word what I said. He simply just said, okay. This morning, the mom and son came in to come retrieve the dragon. When they came in, she said that I don't have the right to talk to her like that. She also told me that I don't know the circumstances and that claiming that they neglected the animal was wrong. I told her that when you decide to get an pet and you claim that it's part of the family, and cared so much about it, that the animal shouldn't look the way she did. I told the son, 19M, that I know that life gets busy sometimes, but if you can't take care of the animal, either figure out a better routine or put it up for adoption. Her son swore that he was caring for it and she was fine a week ago. I told them that this doesn't happen over a week. You should have brought it to a vet or put her up for adoption. Her condition is just unacceptable. Upset, they took the dragon and walked out. So, am I the asshole? You weren't rude, you were advocating for the animal. They needed to hear it. Not the asshole, it also put them on a blacklist. When they came in, she said that I don't have the right to talk to her like that. You do, of course. I'm not sure where some people get the impression that they have a right to never hear that people think badly of them, to never have their illusions that they're good people punctured by reality, but they don't. That just isn't a right anyone actually has. Not the asshole. That level of neglect is literally sickening. Poor little dragon. Not the asshole. You were truthful, and that truth hurt. I would also think about calling any other exotic pet stores nearby to warn them about this family to prevent this happening again. If they appeared knowledgeable and caring enough for you to sell to them, they might convince someone else as well. A number of years ago, a good friend of mine adopted a turtle. When I went to visit her, the water in the tank was black. I couldn't even see the turtle. I was scared the poor thing was going to drown in its own excrement, so I cleaned that disgusting tank myself. Not the asshole. Some people shouldn't have pets. Am I the asshole for refusing to be the family driver, now that I have a car? I, 24F. Just got my first car a few months ago. I saved for it for almost 3 years while working full-time and taking night classes. It's nothing fancy, an old used Toyota, but it's mints. I bought it myself, and I'm really proud of that. The issue is that since I got the car, my family, mostly my mom and older sister, has started expecting me to drive everyone everywhere. Groceries, pharmacy runs, appointments, airport pickups, random errands. Sometimes they ask, but more often they just assume I'll do it. I get texts like, "You can take me at 3, right?" without even checking if I'm available. My sister, 29 female, doesn't work and doesn't drive. She's never really tried. She says driving makes her anxious. Our mom doesn't drive either, medical reasons. For the past 10 years, they've relied on public transport, taxis, or friends. But now that I have a car, they act like I'm their personal chauffeur. I've tried setting boundaries. I've told them I'm happy to help when I can, but I can't always be available, especially since I still work full-time and I'm trying to finish my degree. But when I say no, they get super upset. My sister sulks and complains I'm selfish, and my mom says things like, "We've always helped you when you needed it." Last week, I refused to drive my sister across town for a job interview because I had an exam that evening. She ended up missing it and now blames me for ruining her chance. Our aunt even called to tell me I should sacrifice a little, because family helps family. I feel awful, but also kind of resentful. I bought this car so I could be more independent, not so I could become the default ride for two grown adults who've chosen not to drive. But maybe I'm being too rigid. Am I the asshole for refusing to be the family driver, even though I'm the only one with a car? You're not the asshole, but it sounds like you should move out. This seems like it was going to be an obvious result of you getting a car when everyone has been relying on other avenues of transportation for years. Last week, I refused to drive my sister across town for a job interview because I had an exam that evening. She ended up missing it and now blames me for ruining her chance. How did she plan on getting to the job to actually work if she couldn't even get herself to an interview? Not the asshole. You didn't buy a car to become the designated Uber for grown adults who had functioning lives before you had one. Your sister being anxious about driving is valid, but that doesn't make you her chauffeur. And your mom's medical issues? Also valid. But again, not a reason to guilt trip you into sacrificing your time, education, and mental health. Helping when you can is generous. Being expected to drop everything, no questions asked? That's exploitation, not family love. You didn't ruin your sister's job opportunity, she did by not planning for alternatives. You're allowed to have your own life, even if that means saying no. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you sane. Not the asshole, but it sounds like your aunt has volunteered to drive them around. Not the asshole. Did they actually expect you to miss your exam for her job interview? I'm sure she was more than happy to get a convenient excuse for missing it and continuing to not work. Not the asshole. Have you heard of the lobster pot or crab bucket mentality? A single lobster caught in a pot can typically climb out and free themselves. If you have two or more lobsters in the pot, when the first gets halfway out, the others will pull it back down. Then they all end up getting cooked. Some people do this too. As long as you are in the pot, they will try to pull you back down. You need to escape the pot as fast as you can so you can swim free. Not the asshole. Just keep on saying yes when it suits you, and no when it doesn't. They're still better off than before you had the car. But if they keep on complaining and putting you down about it, you can stop driving them altogether. Maybe they'll like that better. Am I the asshole for questioning my cousin's choice to study medicine for being a fan of Grey's Anatomy? My younger cousin is in her senior year in high school, and when we were talking about her future college and career choices, she told me she wants to go to med school. I was a bit surprised because she had just previously told me she is not interested in any related subject. She likes arts and history and seems to despise biological sciences. So I kept asking what drew her to medicine, and she said she started thinking about it after binge-watching Grey's Anatomy. So I said she should maybe do some extra research on the realities of med school and the medical field, because Grey's Anatomy is fiction and not an accurate representation of the profession and a doctor's life. I said this with good intentions, but she took it as if I was suggesting she was naive and misinformed, or trying to make her second-guess her decision. Am I the asshole for this? You are the asshole. I'm a scientist who works with surgeons. Many of my colleagues got into the field because they watched MASH growing up. I know a bunch of emergency physicians who first learn about the field from the show And countless people got interested in medicine from Scrubs. It's a pretty common way to develop early interest in being a physician. Your cousin is years away from making a full commitment to medicine, and she has plenty of time to figure out if it's right for her without any significant consequences if she changes her mind. She doesn't need your negativity in her life. And for the record, some of the best surgeons I know were humanities majors in college: art history, and classics. It's possible to enjoy and succeed in both science and art. You sound exhausting. Let her go to college and take some classes and decide for herself. Her first couple years of college will be mostly gen eds anyway, so if she hates her science classes and loves the humanities, she can change majors without any repercussions. But maybe she'll continue with pre-med and become a doctor. You're not doing her any favors by discouraging her now, you're just being an ass. You are the asshole. Do you have any idea how many people have watched horribly inaccurate TV shows and movies only to decide to follow into that profession? Seriously, I am 100% sure there are thousands of people out there that are firefighters today cause they saw Backdraft as a kid. I'm sure there's a bunch more that are nurses and doctors cause they watched or another show like it. Bottom line, who cares why someone wants to be a doctor? Be happy that they at least want to try. Info. Are you claiming that she didn't know that Grey's Anatomy was fictional? Did you think she would go to undergrad for the next 5 years without learning more about science or the medical field, unless you told her to? You are the asshole. You basically TLD her you don't think she's capable of becoming a doctor. I didn't see anything in the post to suggest you're in the position to do that. As an older cousin, there's some decent chance she looks up to you, and you telling her that you don't believe in her would be very hurtful with no possible positive outcome. If it's not for her, she'll figure that out on her own. She likely needs people rooting for her while she discovers more about herself rather than doubters telling her she isn't good enough. You're the asshole. A lot of women have gone into STEM and other fields because of shows, Grey's, The X-Files, Bones, etc. And they're kicking ass. You should not be questioning your cousin or trying to dampen her spirit. Her bachelor's is what will help her determine if she can do med school. Her family should be supporting her and lifting her up. Am I the asshole for not letting my 22-year-old daughter move out with the cat? Hi all. Some background. My daughter, 22, has moved out of my house to a city 2 hours away. She's working there and has a little apartment. We have a cat who is 7 years old, bought for her when she was 15 but essentially is the family cat. I have done all the caretaking and paid for the cat her whole life. My daughter of course loves and spends time with the cat, but has never looked after her. The cat is also bonded to my Siamese and to our dog, so now she wants to take the cat to live with her, and I told her no, it's not best for the cat. This is an indoor-only very timid lap type of cat who would likely be traumatized by a move like this. However, my daughter says it is her cat and I can't hold it hostage. Am I the asshole for not letting her take the cat? Not the asshole. On paper she may be right. But cats are living beings, their well-being comes first. Also, as others say, cats are attached to places. She'd know that if she cared. Poor cat would hate that, suddenly losing its place and companions. Your Siamese would be affected too. For the best welfare of the cat it stays where it is. Not the asshole. It's not her cat, it's the family cat, and you are primarily the caretaker. Maybe she would be open to adopting a cat? So many need homes right now. Would be a win-win. Your daughter is thinking like a teenager. This is further confirmation that she might not be ready to own a pet. Info. What was the message around the cat when you bought her? You say, for her, in quotes, but was that the actual message, like she got it for her birthday, or your messaging was that it was expressly for her? Whether or not it became a family cat is irrelevant. If you initially said, we got you a cat, not the asshole for wanting what's best for the cat, milled asshole for saying no you can't, instead of, let's talk about it. I'm worried about the cat. A less authoritarian approach might have helped, if what you wrote accurately reflects the conversation. Not the asshole. The fact that your daughter is willing to take this lovely little cat away from the only home it's ever known. The place she is comfortable at and has her furry siblings at, shows that she's not mature enough to own a pet. When you love and care for an animal you will do whatever is best for that baby, even if it breaks your heart to do it.